Welcome in another edition of the Dirt Racing Podcast. Let's get started.
Anyways, my guest right now is Wayne Johnson. How are you doing, Wayne?
I'm doing great. Just trying to get settled in for the evening. We had a big long weekend in Jackson, a big long drive home, so just kind of getting a little bit of relaxing at home a little bit here.
How was those results?
Well, we didn't win any races, so we definitely would like to have seen a little better finishes. But race car was really fast. We just had no luck, to be honest with you. We had a flat one night, and just track position big at Jackson. It's hard to pass there, and just nothing really went absolutely perfect. But these days anymore, you bet you got to have a perfect night to win races against the competition that's out there nowadays.
You looked good at Knoxville back on season championship.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with both cars. We didn't finish the 360 race. We actually broke a motor, but we got I think we got up to top 4 there. It was about half the race to go. Thought we had a chance of winning that race, but we broke a motor, and then we ran second there with a 410 to Gio Selzy, and he's been really tough this year. He's won a couple races, a couple All-Star races. He's been really tough, so felt real good about that because our 410 program has been off pretty bad for the last couple of years, but really feel like we're gaining on it now.
Where's your next race at?
Well, right now we're in limbo. We're not really sure what we're going to do next. We're working on some stuff to try to figure out what we're going to do for the rest of the year. So really don't have anything set in stone. We'll know the rest of the year's schedule here in a couple of days.
I know you're a couple-time champion of the 360 Nationals at Knoxville. 13 wins overall in the 360 and 7 in the 410s. Which one was your favorite?
Oh, man. I would say probably my most memorable race at Knoxville wasn't even a win. It was, I believe it was in 2002, I believe, when I drove the Beaver car, the Beaver tool car. When me and Steve Kinzer raced back and forth on the prelim night of the Knoxville Nationals, and I ended up winning. I ended up running third, but I think we swapped the leads like 15 times or something that race. So that'd probably be my most memorable race, but probably winning that first 360 Nationals was pretty exciting.
Yeah, I remember the 2002 race very well. Nationals, if you're in the top 3, that's good.
Yeah, for sure. We've won a prelim night back in 2008, I believe it was. So, that was pretty special also. Knoxville is just a special place. Love going there. I lived there in town for like 12 years. I've actually moved away now, but Knoxville's still the place that everyone wants to win.
I just love being there. It's local, so I get to see it most times.
Right. We've got to come this year more than we have in the last quite a few years. There at Knoxville, we've only bounced in maybe 2 or 3 times. In the last few years, I think we got to come there maybe 6 times. I think this year. So, and I think what they only run 11 races or something.
I can't. It was rain, and we and we saw that even on season championship night.
Yeah, for sure. We barely got that thing in.
And I know I saw you at Nationals. I know why we're doing this episode partially is the Chick Magnet's supposed to be on here. Any words about Mr. Josh?
Oh, Josh, man. There's not another one like him, I promise. He loves his race, and it's amazing to me. He's a super nice guy, but it's amazing to me the followers that he has already.
Are you still there?
Yeah, did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here. I just didn't checking.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard what I said. I said
you're saying you're talking about Josh.
Yeah, it's amazing just in the first. I think he's been doing the magnet now for about 5 years, and I'd like to just. I mean, I can't imagine how many followers he has, just for the chick magnet deal. I bet it's probably more followers than I have.
Yeah, and then I know he was on the tour with ASCS.
Yeah, he's got more wins than most drivers got already this year, with his team.
Yeah.
Pretty easy to do with 10 cars, though.
Yeah.
He's like the hindrance of sprint car race.
Tell about the fruit roll up in Mountain Dew story.
Oh my gosh. I took him when he stayed with me for a week down here in Oklahoma, and I took him to the dollar store to get some snacks and drinks or whatever he needed for my house here to have, and because I wanted to have what he liked. Took him, and man, he spent about $50-$60 just on fruit roll ups, Mountain Dew, loaded basket plumb full.
I know you drove in. First time I ever saw you was the 1A car. The Compu.
Yeah, the Comp USA car. Yep, that wasn't the first car that I ever brought to Knoxville. The first car I ever drove in Knoxville was back in about '94 or '95, and it was the Bobby Sparks '91 car. We came up and run my very first 360 Nationals, and we absolutely were horrible. I think we're in the E-Main or something like that on Saturday. That really is what set this trend for me to want to come to Knoxville and try to do, just try to do better and try to accomplish a win there, because we were so bad the first time we went, and I just couldn't wait to go back to try to redeem myself.
Then you drove the Tweety Bird car, the F&J Construction.
Yeah, I went from the Sparks car. Then I went to the Comp USA car, and then I drove so many different cars through the years, but then the majority, as far as big rides, then I went into the 29 car, and I drove the 29 car, 99, 2000, and 2001, and then 2002 I drove the Beaver Tool car, and then 2003 through 2008, I believe, I drove the Safro Motorsports, the 14AJ.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And then I drove the H&H car, the '94 car, in I think '07, '08, and '09, I believe. And then in 2010 is when I got hurt. And then in 2011, I started my own team and ran my own team through 2016, and then since 2016, I've been driving the 2C racing car.
Do you really want to talk about the injury or not?
It doesn't matter.
If you didn't know the story, can you go through it? I know it, but
well, we in 2010, I was racing in Elma, Washington, and got in a bad accident, and actually, I won't say amputated, but it was very close to having my foot amputated at the ankle. I went through reconstructive surgery for like 16 hours, and they still wasn't sure that I'd ever be able to use it for about 2 weeks. I should say about a week. And then they could tell it was going to work, and then lots and lots of rehab for about 9 months. And, we still to this day, I still don't have the full range of motion that I had before the injury, but, it sure beats not having it at all.
exactly. Back to Josh. Does he ever hang out at the trailer? Or is he all over the place?
Well, it depends. It's just I'm the only one at the racetrack that's on his team. He'll hang out, but if his other cars are there, he's bouncing all around. And And I tell a funny story about him. If you win the race, no matter which driver you're on the team, you ain't got to worry about him finding victory lane. He'll definitely be there in a hurry. And it's crazy because if if I won the race, well, earlier that day he might have had a David Ball shirt on. The next thing you know, he victory lane, he's got your shirt on. He's there. So he must wear about 10 shirts at a time.
Did you ever win the Grizzly?
Yes. Yeah, I won the Grizzly Nationals a couple years ago, I believe.
In case people don't know, the grizzly bear comes out next to you.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. You know, you get a 1,500-pound bear or whatever you want to say, however it weighs, next to you, standing within inches is not very. I didn't feel very comfortable, to be honest with you. Hell, I'm not gonna lie, I was scared to death.
I seen those in Alaska, and I would be too.
Yeah, you just never know. You know, it's a wild animal, and I have some photographers tell me, "Why are you so scared of that thing?" And I said, "Oh, because he can eat me if he wants to." He said, "All you can do is be faster than the next guy." And I looked around in Victory Lane on the second night. There was a couple guys I could figure I could outrun in a foot race, so I felt pretty good on the second night.
What's plans for next year? Same team and everything?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I can honestly say that as far as Wayne Johnson and the 2C racing team is when the 2C team is done, then I'll retire from full-time racing. I'll probably keep and play a little bit here and there, maybe locally or whatever. But when Todd and Kelly decide the 2C team is done, I'm going to say I'm probably going to retire also.
Okay, I have few more questions for you. Can you talk about the Tulsa track?
Tulsa Speedway?
Yes.
Man, it's been so many years ago since it was even open. But man, I don't really just remember had a lot of good memories there. You know, we won a lot of races back in those modified days, and really enjoyed going over there. You know, back then I can remember when I was younger, and we would drive to Tulsa, and it seemed like it took 2 days to get there. You know, and now we're driving halfway across the country in 2 days, so it really wasn't that far.
And it was a weird track too, if I remember right.
Yeah, you know, it had really long straightaways and really tight corners, but you know, as any race car driver will tell you, it's dirt and it's round, so you just adapt to it. And but it was definitely strange. It reminds me a lot of Brainerd, Minnesota. I don't know if you've ever been there, but
no, I haven't.
It's a lot like Brainerd. It's real long straightaways and tight corners.
And then talk about Oklahoma City if you can.
Well, you know, growing up there, they had 2 tracks. You know, they had a half mile and a quarter mile. And I only ran the quarter mile 1 year. It was my very first year. And my brothers raced on the half mile. And I just couldn't wait to get on the half mile. You know, I struggled with the little racetracks for a long time because, you know, we grew up racing on the half mile. And when we go to the little tracks, I just didn't know how to do it. And then we really excelled at all the big tracks, like at Knoxville and Sedalia, Missouri, and you know, I don't know, just all the big tracks. We were really good, but we struggled on the little tracks, and you know, it took me some time to figure that out. But going back to the Oklahoma City days, man, they tore it down, and the memories have just kind of faded because I drive by there just about every day where it was. Sure have a lot of memories of, you know, mom and dad, my brothers, and all the local races that we got to race with. It's a shame that they tore it down because, man, there's a lot of memories there.
I know the promoter from there too.
Yeah, Shane Carson. Yeah,
does a lot of work for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Shane's a super nice guy, a super good friend of mine. Known him since I was a little bitty boy, and you know, I remember watching Shane, sitting in the stands watching Shane race. Shane wasn't my favorite racer, but I really enjoyed watching him.
Thanks for joining us, Wayne.
And thanks for having me, Marshall.
Yeah, and I hope to see you soon, sometime next year.
All right, well, we'll definitely be back in Knoxville soon. As soon as they'll open up and get us a race, I'm sure we'll be back.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again to Wayne Johnson for being on the show. Thanks for listening to another edition of the Racing Podcast.